Hi everyone, it is December 20th, 2012, the eve of the winter solstice 2012, and I'm quite honored to be recording, and I hope this recording works because this is the second go around. The first audio was not sufficient. So, let's get started. I really want to be profound in what I want to say and relate. But it's interesting because the message is so simple that to try to expound on it really kind of does it an injustice. Because this is very simple what's happening with December 21st, 2012 and all of what that's about. It's going someplace. It's a wonderful thing, and it's kind of surprising to me because I really didn't think really too much was going to come from this time. But as we've come closer to the time and watching what's happening and in communication with Sophia, it's pretty clear. So this is the stage. We are on the stage now, and it's really more accurate to say that the stage is more like a playground or cosmic playground, because Sophia is here at the playground and we're here at the playground and we're asking each other, hey, do you want to play? This is what I've been talking about the last several days about the inner child and how we connect with the planet through a childlike view, through an imagination, childlike wonder. And it's simple and it's very pure. So that's what we've been connecting with. Last month's Vision Quest was about recapturing things that are unique about each of us, and the way you access that is through trying to take yourself back into your child self, to let the inner child come out. And that's the way this is happening. It's through children and childlike imagination. So we're all on this cosmic playground, and Sophia's fully awake now and ready to play. And it's kind of like if you've ever been in a kindergarten or a preschool, if the good ones they have centers, different centers in the room set up with different things for children to do. One might be the drama center, and there are a lot of costumes and a lot of things they can play with to create, an imaginary world. The art center would have a lot of art supplies. The music center would have a lot of different instruments. The building center would have all kinds of different things you could build with. And children would just naturally gravitate to the one that they liked, the one that was fun at that time. And so they got to test out and play, and it was fun, and it's joyous, and it's creative. And through that, if you're observant, you can see what children's aptitudes are. So that's really what this is about now. It is us on the playground in our center, which is our life, and now being able to mold that and create that into a vision that makes us happy is going to be able to happen like never before. And the reason for that is that it's kind of like a marking point in time where we're released from all of that. We see that darker forces that stand opposed to the success of humanity, are trying to dismantle that. But that doesn't have power anymore. It just isn't going to be the same. It's really pretty much irrelevant. They have no power over us, negative forces. They never have, and we're now coming in to understand that. And so by understanding that, we go beyond that. And then, what do you do? What would you want to do? You'd want to create. So we're in a time where the planet is engaging directly with anybody who wants to be engaged with her and working directly. All that takes is that you show up and that's what you want to do. You just have to intend that you're connecting. So it's a beautiful thing because it's a celebration, and that's what December 21st, 2012 is really about. It's a party, it's a celebration, and it's fun. And what we need to be doing with this is having a good time. If that just means you're by yourself and you're connecting in, you're still in celebration because you're falling back in love with life and you're intending to do that. Because darker forces are pushing death and fear and death fantasies like never before. And that's the distraction, because the real story is that the real party is happening right here, that this has changed. You know, if you've been following my work for a while, you know I'm really not Pollyanna in how I look at the world and every day. You know, I try to balance in the dark and what the potential darkness is of it. So I don't, you know, never been accused of being overly positive. But there's something more going on here. And the first thing to remember is that the fear and the death images are being pushed through children. The inner child, the energy we've been talking about for the past several days. If you were going to destroy or try to destroy the fulfillment of the vision for humanity, and you knew that their ability to connect with the childlike part of themselves was how they would do it, what would you do? You would attack children. This is what we've seen. There's a lot of Illuminati magic behind it. There's really no question about any of this if you're following the Batman movies and it's rather comical in how elementary they've made it, and it's almost like they've made it so easy to see that it's not only distracting people who aren't looking at this in a different way, but it's distracting people that look at it in a different way, and it's just so easy that it's just it's just boring to see that that it's being done like this clearly. Oh, they're putting it right out in front of us. It's the revelation of the method. And so obviously we're trying to be distracted. So what does that tell us? It tells us there's another story. The other story is it's not the death and the fear, it's the exact opposite. It's life and falling back in love with life. Children are trafficked in sexual commercial acts by the thousands every day all over the world. That isn't something being given any kind of attention to. Why? Because there's a distraction being created with a sensationalized, exploitive event, because certainly these families are being exploited. It's tragic. None of that should ever have happened to those children. We all agree. So, we see that there's something happening, so that makes us automatically jump to what is going on. And what is going on is like I said, it's a party. It's a time for celebration. Those forces are out in the light. Everyone can see. If anyone wants to see, clearly see. Dark side's at play. It doesn't matter. We are on the playground engaged in creating whatever we want to. Whatever we want to try and do. That's the main message I want to get across about this, but I do want to mention one thing that I'm going to be watching, and that's with the sun. If you have looked at a lot of the prophecies around 2012, you'll know that the Hopi and the Maya in different ways talked about this time as ushering in the fifth sun. That doesn't really get talked about a lot. But it's always been kind of interesting to me. And something that I've been noticing over the past 3 weeks, I would say, is a change in the sun. And I don't think it's a change that's going to be measurable, or at least in the mainstream science world, something that we would be able to really like quantify or validate. The properties of the sun have changed. This is, in combination, going to speed up the degree to which we are engaged in our co-creation with Sophia, because it's going to minimize those other forces. There's some electromagnetic properties about it that are different. We may not know what that is exactly for a while. It might not take very long to find out what that is. But that's going to precipitate changes. If you have noticed yourself eating more sugar, which of course is, just common this time of year, but even people who really don't even like sugar are consuming a lot of sugar right now. That's a response to the sun, I believe. I believe serotonin levels are being affected. And I think what the Maya and the Hopi were talking about with the fifth sun could be that the properties of the sun have changed. So that's something I'm just going to watch and try and look at. So I'm going to close off this now, and hopefully this will work and get posted and people listen. And I hope you found something valuable in this. And please, please join me. Tomorrow's the party, and we're all there.